All right, welcome back, everybody. So, I think now we're going to talk a little bit about book news, which we have so much to cover. This was a really busy
It
week.
was a busy week. There's some cool things happening
Yeah,
though in the
I'm
world of books.
excited. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to talk about it. So, I think the first thing, let's keep talking about our Queen Taylor Swift. Um, for us, as of yesterday, she released her brand new album, Torture Poet Society, which was really highly anticipated. And one of the promotional things that she did, which I thought was really cool, there was a pop-up library set up in New York, sponsored by Spotify, and she just kind of had like a whole bunch of like little manuscripts and books with all like hidden clues and Easter eggs for this upcoming
Was it things
album.
that she wrote?
Some of them were, but it was kind of like little hints and things. The books were fake, but she just kind of made
Oh.
it look like a little manuscript writer kind of den bookstore. It was pretty cute. I think it was great 'cause I think she's kind of leaning really heavily on this album for that type of like an author in distress and just wanting to keep writing because she's going through so much emotionally, which I know we have thoughts on that. But that was her whole thing. She just kind of wanted to be this typewriter author, and she's just kind of typing things up and then just giving her manifest about love and life and heartbreak. That's what I think that was the theme of this book.
I mean, it's a vibe.
It's different, right? And I think that's her whole thing about her is that she tries to do something different for each album.
Yeah.
Like each album has a very specific identity, and this is what this was for that. It was a very heavily inspired by writers and poets and authors type of album, which she was trying to do.
I want to see her do that with like real writers. And I think that would have been so cool if she had found some like maybe lesser known poets or lesser known artists and used that as an opportunity to sort of like bolster their name.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that is. I didn't think about it. That is a missed opportunity to kind of not partner up with some other people that might have
Yeah.
influenced her potentially.
That would have been cool.
She does do a little bit of like name drops in this album based on some of the lyrics that I've heard. But I think it's only like one of the songs. I forget of them. Again, it's only been like 12 hours, like 12 hours since we heard it, so I'm not gonna have all of this memorized just yet. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I will say though, I heard
She
the
talks about
album.
Dylan Thomas. I remember that.
She does say,
Yeah.
and Patti Smith.
Patti Smith.
Patti
Yeah.
Smith, the poet Patti Smith.
Uh-huh.
So she does mention them. I just can't remember the name of the song. I think it was Sarah something. It's like I think it's the song that has the three names on it,
Yeah.
but I can't remember it. I will say, and this could potentially, am I gonna get killed by more hardcore Swifties than I am? It did take me a couple of listens to get the album to grow on me. It's getting better, but I don't think maybe I wasn't in the right headspace, or I just didn't associate with it as much as I would have liked it. And this is a very first time experience for me because I feel like every single album for Taylor Swift, to me, I have related to it so heavily, like Midnight's, Evermore. As soon as I listen to it, I fall in love with them after one listen.
Yeah.
This is the first one that I think it's a grower, and hopefully it'll get better as I continue to listen. I'll post an update once we post this episode and see where I'm at.
I don't know if that means what you think
A
it
gr- it grows on you.
It's a grower, not a
Grows on
shower,
you.
according to Magda. So, what? Feel free to put that in your liner notes, Taylor.
a
That's
grower.
quite a what
Oh,
a
God.
no. I'm
My
with you. I kind
innocence.
of felt the same way. I listened to it again this morning. I actually liked it a lot more than I did yesterday. But I don't think it's pushing her creatively like the most. And for something that is called the Tortured Poets
Department.
I don't know. Like it maybe is tortured in that there's no torture. It's not. It's torture remembering that name.
I know. I always want to say the Dead Poet Society.
I
Oh,
know.
every time. But there was something, and I will say too. I'm gonna say one good thing and
Okay.
one thing that I found cheesy about
Yes.
it. There was a little bit of promotional period that she released about 2 days prior to the album releasing. It was like a little typewriter memo where she was saying like, I call everybody to this meeting. All the interns will be present. Here's the items that we're gonna be discussing. That has like the list of her entire like songs that are in the album, and then at the bottom she has like things to bring to the meeting, and one of them is bring a dictionary. I don't know if it's because I read a little bit. I do not think you need a dictionary for any of the lyrics. I think the words were very basic. I think if you have a standard high school education, you can understand all of this. So I
This is
think it
the
was
Kelsey effect. She's like,
what
did
is
you
the
know that
Kelsey
was
effect?
I'm just kidding, but she, I would say that like he seems like a sweet guy, but I don't know that
Oh, the
he's like
Travis Kelsey. I was
I
just
don't know
like
that he's
Kelsey, a girl. I'm like,
no,
who's
no,
Kelsey?
like I don't know that he's the most literary, and maybe that's like a function of her being around. I don't know. Here we're going into dangerous territory again. I'm not Swifties don't come for me, but I'm with you. I also think it came off a little like condescending at points. And she even says in one of the songs, like, I know Aristotle and you know Ball. And it's like, okay, quote me Aristotle, Taylor. Like, let's be, I know it works for the lyric, but like, let's not go crazy, okay?
Yeah, I find it hard to. Maybe she does. I don't know. Maybe she does read Aristotle on her free time, but I doubt it. I had to read them because of like my philosophy classes in college, and I hated it. But I don't know. I just thought that it was a little bit pretentious
I agree.
to say that. That bring a dictionary. 'Cause after reading through the entire lyrics, I think the words were fine.
If you're gonna come, I know, if you're gonna come out with a pretension, like you
Nah.
better smash it out of the park. And although I think this album is good, I don't think
It was
it's
what
that.
yeah.
Yes.
You know what? I feel like Midnight's had way
I
more
agree.
dictionary words than this
Yes.
album did. Maybe controversial, and again, it's been a day, so maybe I'm gonna change my mind afterwards. But yeah, I did think that was a little bit pretentious of her to say that. There is one quote in one of her songs that I really resonated with, and I think you asked me this when we were discussing a little bit about Jane Austen. It's part of the anthology album, which is like the second album that she dropped at 2 a.m. On Friday morning. But it's a song, the name of the song is called I Hate It Here. And the lyric is a little bit long, so I'm going to try to make it a little short here. But she says, my friends used to play a game where we would pick a decade we wish we could live instead of this one. I'd say the 1830s, but without all the racists and getting married off for the highest bid. And I kind of resonated. I know it's kind of weird, but I kind of resonated because I love my little like 1800s romance novels, and I don't know what it is about it because yeah, it sucked to be a woman in that time, but I find that really, or a person of color, it sucked, and but I just find that Regency period like I don't know if it was like because I read too many fairy tales when I was little. I have no idea, and I found that like maybe that's like everybody thinks about it. Like we all just kind of not everybody. People that are into romance, we we just kind of put this like eras in or like a pedestal, and we shouldn't be doing that. But it's still kind of comforting. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say to
Well,
that. There's nothing about that century that appeals to me at all. Like, is it the lack of electricity? The fact that she would definitely not have the career that she has right now if they were in it? Yeah, I know. I hate that.
And she does say that and then she does say that in another like follow up quote, like nostalgia is a mind trick, and it is. Like I kind of agree with that. Like
Yeah.
you build up these things and then nostalgia over, you're like, oh, it was so great. But in reality, if you were actually to go travel in time, it's not so
It's
great.
a hard no for me. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well,
But yeah, anyways,
that's book news point number one.
we talked about it quite a bit. So yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, in non-Taylor Swift news, although related, because we know that she loves her, Rebecca Yarros announced a new book called Variation, which is a contemporary romance outside of the Fourth Wing series, and it's due in the fall. Have you read any of her?
I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I kind of want to. I think I want to start with this one and see how it is. I
Yeah.
do like her writing style a lot
too.
because it's very approachable. It really like soaks you into like the story really well. So I'm kind of curious and excited. If anybody has read any of her other books outside of Fourth Wing, I'd be curious to kind of get your thoughts.
I want to hear about them too. I'm excited.
Yeah, but I think we should add this to our TBR. I think just to kind of
Magda's gonna
It's a
bury
TBR.
us in our TBR, and I
The good
appreciate
thing
that.
is this one comes out in fall, so I think we're okay. I know we have way too many books that we keep adding to our list.
Yeah, so excited for that. And then the next one is a potential deep dive that we might do, speaking of TBR, about the Three Body Problem, which is a series that just came out on Netflix, a sci-fi series, and one that we have been recommended to read a couple of times. But I don't know if you heard about this. There was a lot of intrigue with the production of the show because a producer was just found guilty of murdering another producer who was setting up that show. Did you hear about this?
I had not heard about this.
This is insane from top to bottom, and I'm going to do my best with these names. But the producer Lin Chi was murdered by a junior producer at his firm called Xu Yao. And essentially, Xu Yao was jealous of the career that they had created as they were developing the show and had been highly obsessed with Breaking Bad. And so he essentially worked out in his house how to like make these poisons and put it in a probiotic pill that she was taking and poisoned him and he died.
That is, I don't know if I should be scared or impressed on this because like the amount of thought that went into that to put them in like a probiotics pill and know exactly what their routine and how to do it, it's kind of smart but so
I also want
crazy
to be
and
like, I
psychopath.
hope that this story I hope is like less interesting than the show, but it seems like man that should be a show. Like,
That's
oh, I hope the show
insane.
was worth it. The Three Body Problem better be really good because
Oh my gosh. I watched 2 episodes so far and I'm intrigued. I don't know if I like it yet,
is
but
it
I
like
want to know
murder
more.
worthy? Because that seems
It is. There's a lot. There's at least the part that I'm at. There's some weird murdery things
no. I mean,
happening.
like, would you murder someone to
Oh,
have
for
made it?
no, no. I was like,
You're
well,
like there is
there is
murder in the
murder.
show. Yes, fascinating.
Oh, that's funny. Has that ever happened before? Like a producer and producer hate crimes.
I'm sure. I have no idea. I'm sure.
Oh, that's interesting.
Next story, so much lighter, by the New York Times. The opposite, which is that two former bookstore owners and artists that are married, named Pete Cowden and Deb Pettit, opened a children's museum called The Rabbit Hole.
Oh,
And they essentially recreate life-sized installations of scenes from their favorite children's books.
that's amazing. I'm guessing that's kind of like a play on the Alice in Wonderland type of
Yes.
style. Oh, that's so
So the New York Times had a
cute.
bunch of pictures of them. We can put them on our Instagram too. But they did like a Goodnight Moon where they had painted the entire room to be the same illustrative style as Goodnight Moon. They had Madeline in there. I mean, it was so cute and beautiful.
That is such a thoughtful and nice idea. Like
I
imagine
know.
like if you're taking your kids or like nephews and nieces to something like they probably read every night and they can kind of see it in real life. That has to be such a unique and great experience as you're remember having those early on memories
I know.
in your youth.
Being a kid going there has got to be so cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's so smart. And it's like open all the time. It's not like a pop up or anything like
No,
that.
it's supposed to be a permanent museum. It's in Kansas City, Missouri. I want to meet these people and
So thoughtful.
be adopted by them because they seem very cool.
It sounds. I don't know why, but as soon as you said that, it just felt like a warm hug.
I know.
Saying that, like it just felt so nice.
From murder to a warm hug.
Oh, love it.
That's the emotional journey we'll take you on here at Literally Books.
Oh, love that.
What do you got for us this week?
So I know that we talked about 100 Years of Solitude a few times in the episodes. And finally, there's going to be a series that is going to be coming up in Netflix. It's a 16-episode series that has been developed. This is going to be the very first adaptation of 100 Years of Solitude. Gabriel Garcia Marquez was very adamant that he did not want to sell the rights to make a movie on this book because he felt like a movie was not going to do it justice. It's a very complicated family story, multi-generational in this town of Manaco, I believe it's Macondo in Colombia. It's a fictional town, guys. So it's kind of interesting that it's finally happening. The rights sold in 2019, and it's about to come out. I don't think I have the date. I think it's sometime in the fall. But yeah, it should be good. It's 16 episodes, though. For Netflix, that's pretty long.
I'm so excited. And I think like he was probably right. In a movie format it probably wouldn't work. But I think he was not anticipating long form television being such a hit. So
Yeah.
that'll be so good, I'm sure.
So I'm excited for that. And, this is like the only one that he was pretty adamant about it because, we did get a Love in the Time of Cholera story. We did get like a Colonel something, which is based in one of his short stories. So there's been a lot of items that have been translated to movies or TV, but this is the very first one for 100 Years of Solitude.
Very cool.
So I'm excited for people. Maybe this will be like a good introduction to him.
Yeah.
He's a Nobel winner of literature from 1992, so it's like a really big deal.
High school students everywhere are rejoicing because they can finally watch the series instead of
have to
reading
read
the
it.
book.
Yeah, which I don't blame him. And I think I mentioned this. The reading was a little bit intense, both in Spanish and English, so this might actually make their lives a little bit easier. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then the last story that I have, and I think you might know more about this than I do, but Hannah Brown, who was part of the Bachelor and Bachelorette world, she was kind of famous. I don't know what season because I don't really watch the Bachelor or Bachelorette that often, but I do know her because I think she was on Dancing with the Stars, and that's how I know her. Because she came from the Bachelor and Bachelorette. But she's about to release a brand new romance book, which is coming out on May 7th. I forget the name of it, so let me find that real
That's
quick.
so interesting. And this is like, I'll be honest, I don't watch The Bachelor, The Bachelorette that much, although I do love to shit on it because, because I think it can be a little vapid. But I'm excited to see a person from that show like branching out a little bit into something that I think is a little bit more artistically creative. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hold on reading it because I want to see because I think this is like her first romance book, so it could go really really cheesy or it could be like surprisingly really good, and this is what she wanted to do.
I mean, they say write what you know, and if anyone's
Yeah.
had a storybook romance they could write about, it's going to be someone from The Bachelor.
That
So.
is true. But yeah, the name of the book is called Mistakes We Never Made. It comes out on May 7th. So we'll see. There's gonna be a couple of like author events and stuff in a couple of other bookstores and through Good Morning America. So we'll probably get a little bit of buzz happening there. But I think it does kind of fit into like our earlier conversation too. I'm gonna bring up Taylor Swift one more time.
We can't stop.
Because it's like, and I think you made that connection with like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette is just like a very simple-minded thing. I'm not saying that her book is gonna be that.
Not simple-minded. I just mean like it's no. I don't think
Yeah.
people on that show are stupid. I'm
Yeah.
just saying like it is
Very shallow.
It's surface level relationships. Yeah.
It is. It is. So that's kind of why I'm a little hesitant because romance books are already very shallow. So I don't know what this is going to bring to the thing. So
I'll
I
read
don't
it.
know.
I'll read it.
Okay,
and
report
I'll
back.
Report back. Yeah.
And let me know what you think.
Okay.
And see if it's worth it. Like I was gonna be like, I already have a lot of books in my TVR, so I don't know if I want to add this one. I wanted to wait a little bit and see if it's recommend. But if it's completely trash, I might actually even read it too, just out of curiosity.
Sometimes trash can be like very I don't know. It can be exactly what you need in a particular moment.
And comforting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's all we had for book news today. That was kind of a lot.
So much book news, which is really exciting. That means that people are. I just like this resurgent. It's a book-a-sance. I think that people are really delving back into the world of books and literature, and I love it.
Book-a-thon, I love that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Cool.
All right.
I think that's all we have today for episode 4 of Literally Books, the podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. I know it was a very Taylor Swift heavy episode, but I'm sure you're gonna see probably us posting a little bit more about her throughout this week. It is Taylor Week. I do call this, we do celebrate in my household Taylor Week, so it's a big deal.
For those who observe,
Yes.
it is Taylor Week.
Yeah, congratulations. Happy holidays. It's great.